hair-raising incident at Twickenham. There are certain things one should never do on match day. Forget your ticket, wear the opposition's colours, or, as I discovered far too late, allow a trainee beautician to have a go at your hair. It all began innocently enough. I was headed to Twickenham to meet a few of the old Rugby lads, and a full day of shouting, meat pies, and possibly crying during the anthem, glorious. But before I left, I promised to drop in on a mate whose daughter, a freshly qualified beautician named Phoebe, had just passed some final exam involving serums and terrifying metal tools. She asked, very sweetly I might add, if she could practice a few styling techniques. Apparently her test subject had cancelled and I, tragically, was available. Just a touch-up, she said. A trim, I asked. Oh no, she beamed. A vision. Out came sprays, gels, foams, brushes, shaped like medieval torture devices, and something that sizzled slightly when plugged in. She hummed cheerfully as she worked. I, sensing trouble, sipped tea and wondered how quickly hair could grow back from nothing. When she finally placed the mirror in front of me, I forgot how to breathe. I looked like Liberace's hairdresser had gone rogue in a wind tunnel. My scalp was hosting what appeared to be a large, aggressively layered bird's nest, possibly with tenants. Volume, yes. Shape, indescribable. Structure, unyielding. I reached up to pat it down and found it was set, like concrete, like fate. Oh, wow, I said, in the tone one might use upon discovering a bear in the kitchen. Phoebe beamed. It's so bold, isn't it? Absolutely, I lied, with the conviction of a man planning to jump in a hedge, but I was already late for the train. There was no time for a shower, not even a flannel. I dashed to the station, praying that the wind would fix it or a low-flying bird would take it. On the train I noticed the glances, some curious, some fearful. One child whispered, "Mummy, is that a magician?" I considered saying yes, just to justify the look. As I emerged from the station and speed-walked toward the stadium, I had one mission: find a hat. Any hat. A beanie, a fedora, a discarded seagull nest. I wasn't fussy. Nothing. London, for all its shops, had apparently declared a hatless Sabbath. I even considered following and fashioning a broadsheet bonnet from a nearby newspaper stand, but couldn't quite remember how. And I didn't want to look weird. I arrived at Twickenham just in time. The lads were already there. They turned, beamed, and then froze. Robin, said Gavin, blinking slowly, has a poodle exploded on your head? More like a souffle in a hurricane, said Neil. And that was it. 10 years on, it's still brought up at every reunion, my glorious gravity-defying hairdo, however immortalised in a dozen photos and one truly haunting WhatsApp sticker. Phoebe went on to open a successful salon. I, meanwhile, have added one new rule to my pre-match checklist. Trust no beautician under 25. Did you enjoy this hair-raising tale? Sorry, I couldn't help myself there. You'll find 24 illustrated pages of similar scandalous memoirs and team adventures in Volume 1, Slightly Unreliable Memoirs, now available exclusively on our Ko-fi shop. And if you'd like even more absurd adventures, questionable advice, and the occasional rogue cactus, come join us on Patreon. It's a warm, welcoming, and possibly haunted place. This concludes today's tale. I am now retreating to a fainting couch with a pot of tea and a pair of tweezers until the next misadventure.